Take two.
Yeah, see what happens when you don't host for like I don't know how many weeks or whatever. So, hey everybody, welcome to Hobby Hotline episode 108. Good evening, everybody. We're joined tonight with Ryan Breakout Cards, Brody the Kid, and our special guest Tracy Hackler. I'm your pal Val, and trying to learn how to do the broadcast. Here we go.
Take two.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I wonder why I wasn't what wasn't going on. So.
I love it. I love it. There was a lot of good stuff, like me taking shots at Brody that we're never going to get. We're never.
I know. I guess you have to redo them. So, all right. So I think we're live now. Let's see. We get any comments? Here we go. I guess you have to redo them. So, all right. So I think we're live now. Let's see. We get any comments? Here we go. I guess you have to redo. Somebody's listening to the broadcast. Okay.
It's not me.
Oh,
not me.
Let's see. We got some folks in the chat. Logan, Yo Tracy, Cherry Collectibles, the 70s. Yep, 70s card show. A few others in the comments.
We got Grayson.
Good evening, everybody.
In the house.
Cherry Collectibles.
Yeah, is that our guy Grayson?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, nice.
If it is, what's up, Grayson?
Out in the Australia.
Good eye, mate.
Who knows what time it is there? Probably like 3 in the afternoon, maybe.
I think it's probably pretty close. Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think they're like 15 or 16 hours.
Jeez.
I used to be a big. You're gonna think this is weird, but I used to be an Australian rules football guy, and I would get up at weird hours to watch the North Melbourne Kangaroos play. Don't do that anymore.
So he said close. It was 1 p.m., Brody.
1 p.m.
Wow.
Very good.
New Zealand, I think, would be about 3. I think they're a little farther.
It's ready next year in Australia. The 70s card show, yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, we were talking about, before I forgot to start the broadcast here. Tracy's been was with Panini for 11 years. We were talking about with Brody being in the hobby and stuff. So,
I've got video proof as we were going through like some farewell stuff that Scott Prusha, my right-hand man, partner in crime forever, put together. And I have video proof that when I started at Panini, I didn't have much, if any, gray hair.
Yes, you did.
Very little. And now I've got way more than I had before. Some people say it makes me look sophisticated or distinguished. That's not true. It just makes me look old. But I'm young at heart, so that's good.
you have to be. Drew Herndon, Tracy, what's up, brother? And Long Fly Ball, congratulations, Tracy, on the move. And we are sad to lose you from our KLIQ. What is that?
Click? Maybe?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, David. Love David. He's awesome.
A lot of great folks in the hobby. That's one thing.
God.
It's just not about collecting cards and everything else. It's, the camaraderie with everybody. So
it's a family, man.
Yeah, Logan, we had a glitch in the Matrix. So
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, we had that great intro too.
I know. I was fired up, man. All the like Hollywood intro special effects. I was like, "Where's my cue? Where's the red light? I'm ready to roll."
They're gonna take away my engineering license here.
Never. My pal Val is gonna keep engineering the heck out of stuff.
So Tracy, yes, I was talking about, I guess, the move. We came out last week that you had left Panini, and I figured you'd at least take 2 weeks off between new jobs. But
it's kind of a weird time because of the holiday and stuff. But look, I want to dive in. I'm so excited about the opportunity with Jimmy and the Roadshow team, and really a huge fan of him personally and of his vision, of his heart, of his spirit. And we talked, and we actually talked many months ago, and we continued talking. And the more we talked, the more I liked what I heard. And I'll be darned if he didn't convince me to leave one dream job for another one. I've been blessed my entire career. I know that. I don't take it for granted, and I'm really excited about the next chapter.
Well, it sounds exciting.
Yeah, man. I love his idea of kind of really the first franchised card shop in the country. He's got his headquarters store open in Lexington, Kentucky. It's been open for about a year. And then over the next 3 or 4 months, we're going to have shops open in Texas, New York, and California. And I think full speed ahead. A lot of really good people in the company to start up. So that's exciting. A little bit different than Panini. I loved my time at Panini. I can't say enough great things about the people there, the opportunities there, and their bright future as well. But it's a really exciting time. And, I didn't really think about what came next. I was just kind of grinding with Panini, loved it. And then opportunities come and you got to listen. And so I did.
Tracy, I was watching your farewell show with Scott, and I know that you said that when you left Donruss, he took your job. Is he going to be taking your job at Panini too?
That's a great question. That's a tough question, man. Look, Scotty is an integral part of that company. And when he was at Donruss, that was the case. Certainly it's the case now at Panini. I don't really know like what they're going to do, but I would assume in pretty short order they're going to have somebody in that role. And I've told Jason Howard, who's my boss there at Panini, I've told him this, and I really mean it. Whoever they hire, I want that person to be just electrifying and put anything that I may have accomplished to shame with what they're going to accomplish. I really hope that, and wish whoever that person is nothing but the best. And I'm sure when they announce whoever it's going to be, that I will be the first to congratulate them and help them any way I can.
Well, I know I've dealt with a lot of the guys over there, and you guys have all been great. So, I'm definitely sure there's a loss with you leaving, but there's a lot of good folks over there still. But it sounds like you have some awesome opportunity. Getting with the Kentucky, I guess, card shop or whatever, and doing a franchise model. That's really interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Jimmy's a really good dude, man. And he just has a good heart, and he's just the kind of guy that you want to be around. His passion's contagious. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I know some of the people that he's brought on to kind of help run the organization. And I've gotten to meet everyone, and they're all great. He flew me and my family down in the fall, and we met the entire crew, and it was really felt like home. And so but the thing about leaving Panini is, like, I've told everybody, like, we're going to miss you. And I'm like, look, man, you're going to miss one person. I've got to miss like 30 or 40 people. And so I've got it harder than they do.
Yeah, sometimes, it is not necessarily the job, it's the people at the job, especially if you've been there 11 years, you're grinding in the trenches, and the folks you've met and everything. It's that relationship probably more than, the job.
Yeah, 100%, Val. I've said that no matter where I've gone, I've been blessed, like I said, to have a lot of great opportunities in this hobby during my career with Beckett and Donruss, and then Beckett again, and then Panini, and now Kentucky Roadshow. And I've never really missed the work that I've left, but I've always missed the people. And that's what I carry in my heart, and have developed lifelong friendships that are more like family to me. And that's what I'll carry with me no matter where I go.
Yeah, I don't know if
because Well, no matter what company you leave, I'll still see you on 3 web shows a week.
As long as BTK is one of them, man.
I gotta get you on for breaking news.
I know. Let's go, dude. Let's go. I'm ready. Dude, I've been a BTK fan for a long time. I got to get to know Ryan, though. I got to get to know Ryan a little better, man. He's over there kind of stealth and in stealth mode.
Little stealth.
We got to – you can jump right in, man, and say whatever's on your mind.
Sure. Yeah. So
we got a couple of questions in the comments. Let's see. Logan's Tracy, what is your new position at KRS?
That's a good question. As I mentioned, we're a startup, but I'll be kind of in charge of the marketing for them, in whatever capacity that takes.
So to be determined.
Yeah, just marketing. I like to say chief marketing officer because it sounds cool, but we'll do a little bit of everything because, again, it is a startup and we're all kind of all hands on deck, do whatever it takes to get things done. So probably a little bit of everything.
Can you get an Illinois road show in like a year when everything's going great?
It's a great question, Brody. And I'm not ruling out anything with Jimmy. I mean, he's liable to flip the script and have something in all 50 states before it's all over.
I mean, if you got one in New York, you got one in LA or in California, and you have one in Texas, like it feels like it's necessary to put one in Chicago or put one in Wakanda, Illinois, right by my house.
Chicago is a great hobby town, as we all know. So I'm not ruling out anything with Jimmy.
I'll say Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'll say, how close is the one in Dallas to the card show?
Not too far, actually. It's probably 30 miles, maybe. But I mean, everything in like DFW is so. We drove to the shop or the shop location the other night, me and my oldest son, just to see where it was, and it took us about 40 minutes to get there. About 35 miles or so, I think. And so it seems like a long haul, but I mean, most people here typically will commute 30 to 45 minutes and more in some cases to their job. So it's a really cool location in Mansfield, Texas, a real growing suburb that I think will be really strong for the shop.
Nice. So got 2 questions. Victor, the rookie card specialist. So I've never heard of Kentucky Road Show. Can Tracy give us a vision of his new company?
Yes. The vision is Jimmy Mahan's. If you don't know Jimmy, look up Kentucky Sports Cards, Kentucky Basketball Cards on social. Kentucky Cards on Twitter, Kentucky Basketball Cards on Instagram. That's his personal account. But essentially, he has a flagship store in Lexington, Kentucky, called Kentucky Roadshow, Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow. And then he's opening up 3 stores in the short term, one in Texas, one in California, one in New York. It'll be the first franchise hobby shop, true franchise hobby shop in the country. And that's kind of the starting point. He's real big. One of his pillars is charitable contributions, giving back, elevating the hobby and elevating people through trading cards. It's a great mission. Great dude. He just did tonight he did a Whatnot charity auction to help victims of the Western Kentucky tornadoes. And so all week long he's been doing charity work using cards, including many from his own collection to auction off to donate to Western Kentucky tornado relief. So that type of stuff is what he's all about.
There's another one question here from Long Fly Ball. And I don't know, Tracy, we have absolutely no idea how Fanatics is going to revamp, redraw, reinvent the supply chain in the coming years. Are let's see where are collectors' anxieties justified, or how do we see things playing out?
It's a great question. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that the hobby's in a really good place, and I think there's still so much that we don't know about what's going to take place in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But I know that we're the hobby is at an all-time high in terms of participation and kind of mainstream acceptance. And I think we're just at the beginning of this kind of boom period. So I think we're all going to be pleasantly surprised 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now on where this industry is now and where it's going, regardless of how cards are distributed. I left Panini to join a card shop, and I did that with the utmost in optimism and comfort in the future.
Chris, I was going to say, Chris Harris asks, Tracy, are you moving to Kentucky? Or are you working remotely?
I am working remotely. Love Kentucky. I've only been one time. We'll go. I'm actually going next week to get my marching orders and from Jimmy, but we'll be able to work remotely. And when the Mansfield shop opens, I'll probably spend a lot of time there, just capturing content and meeting the consumers and just interacting with them there. But we'll be based here in Texas. What's up, Chris, by the way?
I just want to ask you, Tracy, now that you left Panini, you can, what do you think about being able to talk about like all the companies?
That's a great question too, Brody. I've thought about that. It was so funny. That's one of the things that like really appeals to me is like being able to talk about baseball or pre-Panini UFC stuff that I'm a big fan of. Baseball cards with logos on them. That's exciting, right? No offense, but so there's a lot of good because in my heart I'm a hobby guy, right? I like it all. I've liked Panini more than anybody for the last 11 years, and that will probably continue. But the ability to showcase things that I wasn't able to showcase as a one company guy is exciting.
Yeah, I like when I was Brody the Top's kid in 2018, like doing that. I mean, it was really fun, but like I also wanted to talk about Panini and Upper Deck and all these other companies. I didn't want Tops to see me with the Panini box at their get mad at me. Come on, Brody, what are you doing? You're buying a rival.
That's funny. You know what's funny too is like a lot of people inside Panini America HQ are big time Tops baseball collectors. They might not admit it publicly, but if they're Bowman people and WWE collectors in the building, and look, because at our core we're all collectors first and foremost, and then the what we collect is not necessarily determined by who we work for.
Definitely. Had another question from DPM Sports Cards, and so his question is, how much did the Fanatics takeover play into this, or is this something that was in the works?
So that's a great question. 0%. The Fanatics news had nothing to do with this opportunity. But that's a fair question. But I just really, more than anything, the opportunity, the timing, Jimmy's goal and ambition and mission really spoke to me. And I was flattered that he approached me, and even more so that he wanted to hire me. So the opportunity was the only thing that I was looking at. And I firmly believe that Panini's going to be in great shape well into the future. I got my dog ripping up a.
I posted in the chat here if you want to join the show or post your questions in the comments. Appreciate everybody that's currently has done that already. Me and Drew have kind of the same question here. If you guys want to expand into North Carolina, Charlotte, or whatever, let us know.
Okay, we will for sure. I'm telling you, Jimmy is like-minded that way. So expansion is by no means out of the question.
Yeah, this is a very intriguing idea. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure.
The 70s card show is. Question is what card do each of you want for Christmas?
Jamie comes tomorrow. You make sure you're ready.
I'll let the two younger gentlemen go first.
All right, so it's not a newer card, but my two top cards on my want list right now is I want a T206 Kai Cobb as red. I prefer that, and if they could get a scarcer back, I'd prefer that. But I'm not going to complain if I can get a Piedmont or anything along the lines with that. And my card would be a 39 Ted Williams because one of the greatest hitters in the game, and on that card.
I like it.
I'd probably go with the first Bowman Chrome Auto of Bo Bichette. Graded. I'd prefer, and I'm saying this right in front of Dad, so Dad know that I just said that on Hobby Hotline.
Let's see. Mark the time. That was at 9:25 p.m. Eastern.
On eBay real quick and buy it.
That's funny. The card I want for Christmas is probably not made yet, but the first Russell Wilson Denver Broncos card is the one that I want the most. Or any solid professional quarterback on a Broncos card, please.
AB's not bad, but Drew Lock stinks. I hate to say that. I wish I would have sold my Drew Lock card.
Look, I've had if any Broncos quarterback of the last 10 years had panned out, aside from Peyton Manning, Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock. Am I missing anybody?
That off the top of my head, no, you're not.
Brock Osweiler. I would have the best collection on the planet. Instead, those are in my fireplace right now because we ran out of firewood, and I'm sick and tired of bad quarterbacks. And I love Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I really like him as a person, and I think he's been okay, but we're not getting it done. And please.
I think it's an improvement compared to past years. I mean, you guys are potentially fighting for a playoff spot, so I think it's an improvement to last year for sure. At least you don't have a wide receiver having to play quarterback anymore.
It sounds like
definitely better the last two seasons.
It's offensive.
Is it wrong?
So Val, you answer the question. What card do you want for Christmas, bro?
Me, I'm still looking for it. It's the Fred Lorenzen 72 STP next to the STP car.
Okay.
It's
I always love Val's answers to these questions because they're just great.
You just can't find them. You know, it's probably the what's the one where it was baseball and you needed to complete the set. They were giving out like back in the Depression baseball glove, and they short printed it. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the name of it, but it's one. It's one of those where it's a super short print, and Logan says him too. He's looking for it as well.
I would also take a card with a piece of that jacket, Val.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me a light on there too, so it's out of fire.
But I was gonna say, Tracy, with your Denver Broncos, I saw the one of the Cleveland Browns, he had a jersey and had all the names on the back of the jersey going down of all the quarterbacks that they drafted and didn't pan out.
Yeah, they've got a really spectacular history of QBs that have come in and out of there. And look, I'm really like, I know my kids are tired of hearing, but like the Broncos won Super Bowl 50, so they have another pass. They won 32, so they have a lifetime pass with me. Like, I'm going to love them forever, but I would like them. They have these players on their team. I don't know if you probably haven't heard much from them. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, really, really dynamic playmakers, and nobody can get them in football. Nobody.
Hey, at least the Bears are finally out of the playoff hunt, because that was getting kind of annoying watching them at 4-9 in the playoff hunt. I'm just looking at the screen and I'm like, come on, NFL. They're not in this stinking playoff hunt. They score. Oh, congratulations. You get a touchdown at the end of the game on the last play. You don't even get to kick the extra point. Typical Matt Nagy. I'm going to score a touchdown, so it looks like it's a one-score game. And I was in it, so now I won't get fired. Get out of here. Go back to Denver or KC or wherever. Go back to KC where you belong with Andy. Yeah, make Mahomes worse. That'd be nice for us. For us NFC West.
AFC West teams, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say, last night, Brody, I kind of thought of you. My older son was talking about how happy he was that we didn't draft Justin Fields when all the talk on draft day was, can't believe you passed on Justin Fields. Now I'm glad that we passed on Justin Fields.
Oh, come on, Tracy. He's playing good. It's not his fault, man. All of our receivers are literally smaller than me. They're all like 5'8", and I like tower over by all their wide receivers. Our secondary, we literally signed like 11 players from the practice squad because of the stupid COVID nonsense. And then David Montgomery, every time I watch him run the ball, he'd get absolutely stuffed. That's not on Justin Fields. Justin Fields is super athletic and can run really well, which I like.
That's a good thing.
He's been playing good in the run game. I do like that. They just need to get rid of Nagy and Pace, and then we're good. And
whoa. Take
Ryan
easy on
Pace. Ryan Pace, I'll have you know, is a proud alum of my high school, Marcus High School. But listen, Brody, I'll tell you this about Justin Fields.
He just real quick.
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
PFF came out with the stat: the Bears get the least solid separation of any receiving core in the NFL.
Okay, so that's Brody's point.
Only 36% of plays they get solid separation. So just so we don't slander Fields too much.
They're all small. It's like watching my high school team play.
That's not.
My son just said PFF came out with the stat that they get the least amount of separation in the league. But I'll say that the one thing I like about Justin Fields is he makes Drew Lock look like a bastion of ball security. And if you can do that, it's remarkable.
Our offensive line is so messed up. Everything's messed up about the Bears. I can't even watch it anymore. I can't even watch it anymore. It's ridiculous. We should have won 34-17 because we were in the red zone 4 times and didn't score. Good play calls, Nagy. Then we go for it on 4th down. We run a stupid bootleg and nobody's open. And then Fields gets sacked because he can't juke out every single player on the football field. I mean, he juked out like 2 guys, but he can't juke out 7 players. I mean,
you're a Raiders fan.
Being in Chicago, you kind of have to watch and root for the Bears. But the Raiders, I didn't get to watch any of the game because I had basketball practice, and I was at a weird time. But fair enough. I mean, Carr did what he had to do, considering it wasn't very good by any means. But I mean,
it's a win, bro.
They won. It's a good win against the Browns. The Browns are pooping their pants right now. They're probably done, I think. Baker's getting mad at the NFL on social media, yelling at them. The bottom line is the officials in the NFL from like the past 5 years have gotten so much worse. They are calling penalties ridiculous. I read an article about why Matt Nagy got the unsportsmanlike conduct, and the referee made a claim that he said an inappropriate language. So now they're giving out 15-yard penalties for a guy slipping a naughty word to Santa Claus, and they're given 15-yard penalties. I mean, the players on the field are excited. Probably say that word when they get a 5-yard run because they're excited because they pushed the running back 3 yards ahead. Wiseman pushes the running back forward. Oh, yeah. And they're like all excited, and they say something, but they don't do anything.
Brody.
Man, Nagy says something. It's like personal foul.
You're Brody. You're Brody the Kid, man. Way too much angst to be Brody the Kid. Listen, Heroes for Sale had a question, not to change.
Well, I was going to say before you say that is that you know, guys, Cam Newton might be on the market soon, so
yeah, maybe.
But here was the Heroes for Sale had a question for Tracy. What do you, Tracy? One of your favorite products you worked on at Panini? Worked on.
That's a great question. I was always a sucker for playbook football just because I felt like it was so different. I loved the book designs. I loved a lot about that product. But the first UFC product, I'm a huge UFC guy. And when we got that license, I was really stoked. And I know it's Prism. It's an easy answer. It's a product that was going to be successful anyway. But really love seeing that take off from the jump. So, but playbook football, number one, UFC, Prism, probably number two.
Oh, I'm seeing it now. The Justin Fields playbook worth like $1,000 in a couple years because he's going to be like 10th in the league at quarterback. Hopefully, I'll take top 20 to be honest.
So you were talking about Prism. Now, when we Mojo Breaks, when the guys were on, they talked about, I guess, the first year maybe of Prism basketball. Yep. I guess maybe it didn't sell or whatever it was, but they were like, I think they were giving, you know, either cards away or packs away back in the day. And, but I guess it's pretty rewarding, I guess, to see that come from something like that to now, you know, a major release. You know, everybody's looking for them. People go after those silvers over other stuff, you know.
Yeah, the first year we started with basketball and then immediately followed with football, and there was a lot of concern that it wasn't performing and we should abandon it. But our teams were always really loyal to brands, and they're not about here one day, gone the next type stuff. And they stuck with it, refined it, and now it's one of the landmark brands in all the industry. So that's been pretty fun to watch.
I will say one thing though, if you want to be positive about the Broncos, Tracy, Javonte Williams is a train. He is possible to tackle.
He's been really fun to watch. And Melvin Gordon too has been kind of surprisingly still effective. But yeah, Javonte's got a bright future. Runs hard to tackle, has a punishing mindset. If we could ever get a passing game to support him, I think we'd be a lot better off. Michael Ham, fishing and sports card hobbyist. I like that. I like fishing and I like sports cards. What is Tracy Field's greatest knowledge of Panini products that will help him moving forward from Panini? That's a good question, Michael. I think just nothing like in particular, not one thing in particular, but like all of it put together. You know, having worked for Donruss and then Panini and seeing the manufacturing side of all levels of it, from league approvals to player acquisition, production issues that could impact things. I think just all of it, knowing kind of every step of the process and what goes into it could help in any number of ways.
Here's one that I don't know if this is. I'm sorry, Heroes for Sale. What was a product Tracy thought could have gone in a different direction to be more of a popular product? Was there something that you saw that that maybe wasn't popular that you thought maybe a change here or there could have made it? Or
Oh, that's a good question. Let me, man, there's so many products. I think so. I get charged with coming up with the product name unparalleled. I did nothing to develop products other than like promote them, but I often would throw in like little name suggestions. And one that I volunteered was unparalleled, but they didn't make the product the way I had pitched it to them, but they took the name. So I get tagged with unparalleled as like my thing.
But Unparalleled was a pretty cool product, and that kind of led to Revolution, which is like
It did, yeah.
very
It did for sure.
But-
Like Revolution, yeah.
Unparalleled. What happened? Unparalleled disappeared in football last year. I was kind of sad to see that one go.
Well, thank you for saying that, Brody. But you're right. It did lead to the Revolution because, like, when Revolution first launched, I was kind of like, "Well, this is never going to fly." I mean, to take Heroes for Sale question in reverse. When I saw him parallel or Revolution for the first time in basketball, I thought, "Oh, autographs aren't guaranteed in every box, so it's a good autograph checklist, but not often." And then all the various patterns, I thought, oh, this is not going to work. And then it worked. And now everybody loves the Galactics and the Chase inserts. And that's been one of the things in the industry at large that I've really enjoyed seeing is the proliferation of Chase inserts that aren't autographed, that don't have pieces of memorabilia, but are just really cool looking cards or technology driven cards that can make or break a case. If you don't get the autograph you want or the mem you want, you can get a color blast or a downtown or something like that and still get value out of a product. Is pretty cool. That's been fun to watch.
now in the NASCAR, we've seen the color blast start to escalate now, as opposed to, I guess last year was the first year, I think, for maybe color blast. But this year, like, I don't know, Trace, if you've watched some of the aftermarket stuff for the guys where the Dale Juniors hit over 1,000,
Wow.
which,
I love it.
and yeah, and I think Haley Deegan, I think she was like 800 or 900. So commanding some big prices with Color Blast in NASCAR
man,
anyway.
That's been so much fun to watch because those things are so rare. And if you get the right player or driver, I mean, it more than makes up for your box, a case. So I really like that part of it. And it just goes to show that you don't need a ton of autographs or a ton of cool memorabilia cards. You need those, but you can also do some really fun stuff with some high design, high technology type stuff that resonates with people.
How often do you guys end up making up brands that never made it to market? I know you were talking about Revolution and how that didn't fly with you. Like, how often do you guys create those type of brands, or like this isn't going to happen, or just push back a lot later?
It's a great question. None that I can think of off the top of my head. I think if they spend enough time on it, like our calendar is pretty much set for most products, and but there are some times when they'll look at a product that didn't perform and either think about dramatically overhauling it or changing the name or putting it on the shelf for a while and bringing something back. Like Classics was gone for a while and it's back this year, and things like that will happen. But I don't think they've ever worked on a product that didn't come to market unless there was a case where they were going to do an Eminence product one year and they discovered, or they did the research and found out that they didn't have enough high-end stuff for Eminence, so they're going to shelve it for 1 or 2 years down the road.
now axing the brands, do you guys look at just box sales, or do you also look at like the secondary market if cards are going for a decent amount of money compared to where retail is at? Or what did you guys look at from the data perspective side?
I think it's so easy now to get really good feedback, market feedback on social and on. It's so easy to track secondary market sales now, and so I think they look at a kind of a combination of things. I mean, value, obviously, but the thing that really has been fascinating to watch too over the last 2 or 3 years is, a product like Prism was never made for a $1,200 price point for a box. It was $120 or $160, and so when the dynamic secondary market prices have escalated, nobody's more like on pins and needles than the product development teams who build those products, because they don't build that to be $1,200. They build that at $150 or $160. So that's always a real scary proposition for them. But I mean, you kind of know pretty quickly. Like I always said, I can tell pretty quickly from feedback on social media what products are going to do well and be strong year to year and which ones aren't. And they look at a lot of those same metrics.
Well, hopefully this product wasn't in your suggestion box, Tracy, but I used to love Illusions football, but then I am actually curious of if you know why they changed this. It used to be like we'll try the Bears, Mitch Trubisky and some guy from the 1940s, and or
Jim
like,
McMahon.
Jim
McMahon.
McMahon. We'll just say Jim McMahon to be nice.
Okay.
He never had 4,000 yards, but be nice because
Doug Flutie.
But now they changed it to where it would just be Mitchell Trubisky. It would just be Trubisky and then another picture of Trubisky in the background. Do you know what kind of shifted that?
I don't know that, but Rob Springs or Tim Yoder, Wes Elliott, the dudes that work on the football products probably know that. But I'm with you. Like the Illusions base set idea of current player with former player, whether that's Jalen Hurts or Randall Cunningham on the same base card, or Drew Lock and John Elway on the same base card is. That was cool for a while. That was cool. That was cool 2 years ago. But that concept is kind of a throwback concept to some products from the 90s. But I don't know why the shift in that design principle.
I have another question here. Tracy, do you think they will ever get caught up and bring products out earlier in the season? Excuse me. And do they skip some products?
So, I mean, the answer, I think the answer is yes, they will get caught up. I mean, Hoops, as an example, Hoops should have been out in October, and it's not out yet. And then Donruss should have been out in December or November, and it's not out yet. But a lot of that has to do with production issues that were brought on by the shutdown a year and a half ago, and other complications from a glue factory, kind of an explosion at a glue factory, and so many challenges that they couldn't foresee kind of caused some issues. But they'll never skip products, but they may leapfrog them, if that makes sense. So a product that should have come sooner than one will get leapfrogged because more production is done on it, or it's ready to go, whereas this one is still facing any number of production challenges. But it won't get skipped altogether and pulled out of the calendar. It'll just come out at a different time. But yeah, I think they will get caught up, but it's going to be a challenge.
Will Domingo Ayala be in 2022 Donruss baseball?
Well, who?
Domingo Ayala.
Oh,
Domingo Ayala.
Domingo. He should be. I mean, I think I think we still have have a deal with him. Hopefully the famous San Diego chicken's in there again too.
I don't know about this one here, but whatever happened to HRX? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that.
That's funny. It was an idea that was ahead of its time. I'll say that. It was.
Was that the digital card?
Yeah, that was the card that was like that thick, and it had a TV screen in it, and you hit a button, and there was video on it, and
Oh man,
I remember
cool.
I saw some. Every once in a while, you see them on eBay. They're a few $1,000s.
Yeah, there was some. Again, it was an idea that was ahead of its time. They had to be redemptions because they were literally that thick. But some of the video content, like we had, I think Kobe and KD were the video on the autograph versions was of them signing that very card, which was pretty cool. But challenges obviously from fulfillment to defects, or when they die, like how do you recharge them? But it was also possible to upload video to them, so you could have some now that are like a Tim Tebow HRX card that has custom footage on it from YouTube or something. So it was a valiant effort that didn't last very long.
man, imagine implementing those with NFTs of today.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of like I saw when Top Shot started taking off, a lot of people were comparing or were talking about how HRXs were the first NFT, and there's a lot of cool video content. One thing about the NBA ones is that we had like actual game footage on the Kobe card and on the KD card, but that video footage is so expensive to get from the NBA that there was a reason there was only like 15 seconds of NBA footage on there, because it was so expensive. But yeah, that was cool to kind of be compared to the first NFT way back when.
Well, to prepare you, Tracy, if you ever when the roadshow becomes huge and you guys are in like 15 states and you're at the national and you guys go to the Topps Q&A, and I learned from this because I went to Topps Q&A first time in 2017 national, and somebody asked, why aren't the 2017 Allen & Ginter wooden minis in the case? It was like a case set, this 2017 Allen & Ginter wood mini. And they asked that question. They were like, oh, we're not really sure. Manufacturing must have got messed up. We'll probably find them eventually. Every single year since then, the same people have asked that same question. And every year, Top says, we are never going to know. We are never going to know. So just know, if it's 2024 and you're going to Topps Q&A, there's going to be some old guy that asks about the 2017 Allen & Ginter wood minis. And then Topps is going to say, we're never going to know the answer. Shut up, pretty much.
Well, special shout out to Eric. Those back pages. That's who asked that.
Yes, I love Eric.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that Jimmy, and probably anybody that works for Jimmy, would never tell anybody to shut up. And he's also pretty transparent, so he's going to answer any questions he has. And you know me, I'm going to try to answer whatever I can answer. So whatever questions you have of the road show in 2024, when we have our 15 shops open, or 50 or however many, we're going to answer them, Brody. But you won't be the kid anymore. You'll be Brody the
I'll be working for you then.
Yes, exactly right. You'll be running the Wakanda shop. You ever see a day where a card manufacturer runs their own printing? Yeah, for sure. Like Upper Deck used to. No, they don't anymore. But they used to have a printing facility in their building back in the day. So that might be the most valuable piece of the puzzle for anybody in this industry on the manufacturing side, is the the printing facility. It's such a customized business now. Back in the day, you had 2 or 3 like big card production facilities. Now you really only have one, and whoever can kind of grasp that facility is going to have a lot of power.
I was just thinking that, it's something either Fanatics or somebody, you would think. We did a show. We were, I guess, talking about some different areas of the market or the hobby, where you could see stuff. And definitely the printing has been the bottleneck, I think, for everybody. And I know Topps, I guess, tried a manufacturing, I guess, somewhere in Europe or Italy or something, and had issues with that product.
Yeah, it's such a specialized process now. I mean, trading cards are hard. We used to have signs in the Panini building that said cards are hard, and because on the outside looking in, it's like, oh, it's just paper and ink, but man, to like get it right and to cut and to, I mean, every memorabilia card, as example, is handmade. Everyone, from one color white swatches to 6 break, 14 color patches, they're all handmade, and it's just a really difficult process. And the manufacturers that used to be involved found they could do things a lot with a lot fewer headaches and more profit margin by just doing boxes or cereal boxes or food boxes and not worry with the card stuff. It's just so specialized that I think you won't see many new trading card printing facilities opening up.
I was just curious because you worked for Beckett for a long time, twice. Did that have any impact on Panini being able to do encased with the Beckett graded cards? Did you kind of get a hookup over there at Beckett?
No. So Beckett is like there's a lot of former Beckett people that have gone on to work in other places in the industry. A lot of them worked at Panini. I mean, it made a lot of sense because Panini's local, Beckett's local. So a lot of people worked at Beckett who now work at Panini. So a lot of relationships have remained. And I think that was just a matter of, I guess in theory, they could have used PSA for encase, but because we're both local, you don't have to worry about shipping a bunch of stuff. You can hand deliver it. They can hand deliver it, and it cuts down a lot of the time it would take to do a product like that remote.
Just checking the comments here.
Bring them on.
Just curious too. I was listening to your farewell show with Scott. So is his story on how you guys met true? He saw your Beckett baseball article and walked into your office, and you were just sitting there like a chump, like thanks, dude. And you had an editor hat on.
Okay.
Scott.
First of all, that was like, I was probably 28 or something, 29. He made me like 50 in that story, which I'm 51 now. So, but I remembered a little differently. He did have the magazine in his hands. He was a Carlton Fisk column I wrote about finding his rookie card on a pegboard half off at a show in Arlington. But he came, my recollection is we were outside in the courtyard by the basketball court, and I was out there, and he brought the magazine to me and told me how much he liked the column. And that's how we kind of met. And ever since, I mean, we were thick as thieves. I think that's still a phrase. We were tight, and I was the best man in his wedding, and we were at each other's kids' things. And so We'll be boys from now on.
Who's that?
But I didn't have an editor hat on, and I didn't like pull my glasses down and tell him to beat it, kid, and all that stuff. He's only like 3 years younger than me, by the way, too. It's not like he's 15 years my junior.
Yeah, we got another question from Heroes for Sale. Did LaMelo not signing his cards have any effect on the delays for basketball this year?
I mean, I don't think so, because I think he was a redemption in most stuff, and I don't think we held up when he started signing again. I don't think we held anything, at least as far as I know. I don't think we held things waiting on his maybe a few days. I think the first thing he started signing again was Spectra, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. There might have been one before that. I think it was Spectra, but. So I don't think so, because he was a redemption and most things all year. But I hope that he does catch up for consumers who are waiting on his stuff. It would be awesome.
So I have a question on redemptions. I know a lot of people always ask. So what happens to redemptions when they end up expiring?
Well, hopefully they've been returned by then. But you mean like if you're holding a redemption card and you don't have anything?
Like someone opens up a product that's like 6 or 7 years old. What happens?
Yeah, well, a lot of times, I think we used to be the only manufacturer, Panini, that honored expired redemption cards. I don't know that they still do. I think if they do, they honor them with rewards points. But typically, once the redemption deadline comes and goes, we'll use those cards for replacements for other stuff, or damage replacements, or trade out for people holding other redemptions. Any number of things could happen with those after the deadline expires.
Well, Tracy, I got a question for you. NT Racing. Do you know if that's been delayed or not? It was supposed to be out end of the month.
I don't know. I don't think so.
How could you not remember? No, I'm only kidding. It's racing. It's racing. I'm just kidding.
No. I love. Look, I've gained a keen appreciation for NASCAR over the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years. But I mean, that was never one. I know Prism may have been slightly delayed. But I don't recall hearing anything about NT being delayed.
Okay, I've seen some of the drivers tweeting out photos with them signing cards and stuff. So as early, I guess, as late last week. So I didn't know if it was going to be pushed back or if that's in the pack out. I figured with the holidays coming up, if they would be working over that. So I'm guessing it's going to be late.
It might be mid-January or something. Because I think was it Michael Waltrip? I think tweeted something or Instagram something out about him signing something. Yeah. So it may be slightly delayed, Val.
So I guess you're gonna miss, taking a ride with Greg Galding and stuff at a few hundred miles an hour.
I'm not gonna miss that. No, I'm not gonna miss it. I did it once. I was thankful that I survived it. Gray was awesome. I love Gray. He's such a great dude. Look. Like, I don't know the difference between what Gray was doing and what Joey Logano does, but we were pretty close to that wall, it seemed like, and we were going really, really fast. So I'm glad that's over, and I'm glad that I lived to tell about it.
I'm just curious, where did the inspiration from the Dare to Tear cards and Legacy come from? Because I have a sort of an idea of where they may have come from, but let's hear it from yours truly, Tracy Hackler.
Well, I had nothing to do with it, but I can tell you that back in the day, Pinnacle did that Dare to Tear concept. And, I don't know in what boardroom that idea came up and who thought that was cool to do that, because it goes against every fiber of most collectors being that you would tear a card to get a chance at another card that's inside. It's just really weird. But I will say, give Panini credit for providing some perforation so you can do it neatly and not because back in the day it was just rip, he just tore it, or people got X-Actos and tried to be precise with it. But I don't like the idea. I think it's counterintuitive. I think it goes against everything we know as collectors. And Ryan, who specializes in very old cards, to think that at some point when one of his T206s was released, that some marketing genius said, "Hey, we're going to tear these," and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But
help them in the scrapbooks and trim the bottoms of the advertisements off. So kind of like that. Don't really when they do that.
Yeah. So anyway, Brody, that's a great question. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. The only cards I tear are Broncos quarterback. So
I was a believer in Paxton Lynch. I don't know why, but
so was I, dude.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for us, Brody?
Yeah, Dad, how'd that work out?
Not good. I tell you, it didn't work out good.
So Ken Cartellers was asking, would Panini consider making boxing cards?
That's a great question. I know some people at Panini. I can ask them. The closest that we came to making, well, back in the day when Mike Payne was still at Panini, he's a big old school boxing guy, and in one of the Americana products, he had some boxers. So we have made boxing cards, and then at some of the Panini VIP parties at the National, we had Thomas Hearns was there one year. Obviously, Mike Tyson was a guest one year. So there is some boxing crossover. But I don't know how the licensing works on boxing. I would assume might be a nightmare, depending on.
You gotta jump on that. You get the Darren Williams, Frank Gore dual autographs.
God,
you gotta jump on.
Everybody wants to fight now, man. Everybody's in the fight game.
Darren Williams, man, he looked pretty good. Fighting line guy. Represent the referee is. I can't talk.
I just think you should maybe leave the fighting to the professionals, man.
Yeah, that's why he probably said he's not going to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I love Frank Gore, but he was fighting. And the thing about these exhibition matches is that they don't fight in the right weight class, and there's just a bunch of it's just unstable. I'm a big fan of combat sports and certainly UFC, and you would never see a 190-pound dude fighting a 150-pound dude. It just wouldn't happen for a reason.
So the question is, what was your favorite VIP party?
The one in 2027 when Tracy goes back to Panini and invites Brody to the party.
The favorite VIP party, I mean, it would have to be the one with Tyson, I would think, just because I grew up like a Tyson guy. And the fact that I got to interview him at that party was a little bit bizarre, because I was standing right in front of him and I was scared because I thought he might punch me out. But it was cool. That's kind of another one of those examples when I knew I was living a dream job. I was standing across from Mike Tyson trying to figure out what to ask him as a guy who grew up kind of watching his rise and
knowing if you ask the wrong question, he'll, kind of let you sit on the floor,
Yeah. The thing about that party in Tyson, because I think Ricky Williams was there too, such a great dude. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there. Ryan Sandberg was there. A lot of that was in Chicago, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken. But so Tyson walks in with his people, and he's a little bit like antsy, and he says, "I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to interact with anybody." And we're like, "Oh crap!" That's the whole thing of the VIP party was like laid back, casual, just come and hang out with the people. And he didn't want to do any of that. And then like he walked away with his people and he came back in and he goes, "Get me a chair." He goes, "I want to sit down and I want to shake hands with every person in the party." So they lined up and he shared time with everybody. It was such a great transformation.
Paying a lot of money for this party. You got to talk to the people.
Yeah. And he did. And it was one of the highlights of the entire VIP party history was Mike Tyson there. It was just surreal.
Incredible.
I'd probably give a fist bump to Mike Tyson instead of a handshake because you fist bump his hand and it's you think he's gonna punch you in the stomach.
Well, I don't think he would punch you, Brody. I don't think he would have reason to punch you unless you start going off on the Bears again, which, hey.
Yeah, I could go off on the Raiders too. Our coach got fired. Then two players get kicked off the team, and now we're 7-7 when we should be like 9-4 or something.
Or you beat us without a coach, so thanks. Thanks for that.
I know we've gone long today. Gone over. I don't know. Any other questions here in the chat? Hobby Hotline overtime. Overtime. Yeah.
Yes. King NASCAR right there.
Logan. We'll see. Where's the other one? Yeah, another one. You screaming like a girl when you were in the car with Gray.
Hey, I scream like a girl when I drive with my wife too. You got to watch out, man.
My dad would say the same thing. Don't tell my mom that I said that, Tracy.
I would never tell her, Brody. I'm going to tell
her. God bless you, Tracy. All the best to you in your new work. Yeah, thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, God bless
for
y'all,
spending
man.
some time with us.
No, Merry Christmas to y'all. Have a great holiday season. I appreciate the time. Check out the Kentucky Roadshow, California Roadshow, Texas Roadshow, New York Roadshow, all the roadshow stuff. There'll be a lot of exciting things coming. So thank you guys for the opportunity and the time as always. And hopefully we can do it again soon.
Definitely. I don't know if guys, Ryan or Brody, you have any closing?
On Twitter and Instagram at Brody TK, on Twitter at Brody the Kid 1 on, or Brody TK on Twitter, Brody Kid 1 on Instagram. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing my daily Rip Christmas countdown, basically just an advent calendar, and you can guess for some prizes and stuff. Just added a Topps Chrome baseball blaster to the prizes today, and I've got my Christmas show on Thursday with a couple of special interview guests, some kids. So.
Awesome. I saw you had some NASCAR packs.
Yeah, I did do that. What was that? That 2017
Donruss.
Yeah, that big old chunky pack. Oh yeah, Tracy. Yeah. On yesterday's one, I actually pulled this Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh wow,
from Gold Standard.
Dude, that's nice.
I was really itchy to get an Acuna auto because I've seen so many people pull one, and I really wanted one for a while, and I pulled it. So
that's awesome.
Saves a lot of money, $20 instead of a lot more.
That's a great.
Well, that's good. I'm happy for you. That's a good card for sure.
You guys can check out my stuff at Breakout Cards on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Last week, I just launched a book that I've worked on for the last 11 months, which is Spotting Fakes. So I talk about the 50 most fake cards in the hobby and also have about 70 pages detailing how to find counterfeits out there, and just finished my marathon of 52 card shows in 1 year. So glad to finish both of those up.
That's
Way
awesome.
to go, Ryan.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, you can catch me at NASCAR Radio, and podcast drops on Fridays. No Hobby Hotline this Saturday, Christmas. So, guys, taking
Unless you want to see me rant about Chicago sports teams, hop on.
Yeah. But then we'll be back, I guess the following Tuesday. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Again, thank you, Tracy, for joining us. And
Thank y'all, man.
Yep, and we're out of here. Everybody have a great Christmas, holidays.